Have the best paint on the planet? Hell yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Paint and supply.
There would be some vitally key important information coming out of that bag. Corey Johnson back at you. Yeah, you right. Thanks so much for joining us. Got a good one lined up for you on this Thursday afternoon. It's jam-packed. It's so crazy. Talk radio sometimes is a big mystery. Some days I'm like, there's so many topics. It's like, how are there days where there aren't topics? And then, of course, inevitably, there are days where there aren't topics. You're like, wow. Some days, 0 guests. All of a sudden, mucho guests. Councilman Freddie King will join us in less than 15 minutes. French Quarter trash contract. All this nonsense continues. Es loco. Councilman Freddie King, about 4:20. Around 4:35 or in about 30 minutes, right after one Frederick King, New Orleans City Councilman, Bradley Schneller. He joins us every Thursday around 4:35. He's with Stacked Coaching, the ultimate gym, and it's more than that. It's fitness and it's nutrition. That's how you get stacked. StackedCoaching.com if you'd like to check out the website before Bradley joins us at 4:35. Jeff Dorson, love tossing a bone to this guy because he cares about the animals like Blue Boy and Sparky and other animals out there. Jeff Dorson, Humane Society of Louisiana. He'll join us right before the top of the hour, around 4:50. And you Jefferson Parish folks, Kim Chatelain, Inspector General, Jefferson Parish, will join us in the 5 o'clock power hour, about 5:20, about an hour and 15 minutes from now. Kim Chatelain, Inspector General, Jefferson Parish. She does the best she can do, I guess. I don't look at Kim Chatelain as like incompetent. I look at the Jefferson Parish Office of Inspector General, the way it's set up, it leans towards the politicians' favor, not the citizens. The politicians control it, the budget, investigations, all kind of stuff. It doesn't have autonomy. I know it's amazing. A lot of you would be like, how is the New Orleans office set up right and the Jefferson Parish office isn't set up right? Well, Jefferson Parish was slow to get an IG. New Orleans was, post-Katrina, there was sort of a kumbaya feeling in the city that everybody wasn't running towards their fiefdoms, black, white, Republican, Democrat. Everybody was like, let's get New Orleans going again. That was the main thing because it was totally down. And there were no fiefdoms to be had. So a lot of folks were like working for the betterment of the city. And the Inspector General's office was one of those things. I ran for council at large in 2007. It's one of the reasons Bob Sarasoli came on my show every Wednesday. He's like, you helped me get out of the Loyola, university. You helped everybody get on board. And he never told me this. I just know how it went. I ran for council at large. Everybody's talking about their, agendas, what they want to do. I'm talking about the Office of Inspector General. Debate after debate, forum after forum. It took about a half dozen of them for Jackie Clarkson, Cynthia Willard Lewis, and others just to start mentioning the Office of Inspector General and pretending to be for it. But I exposed everything about how a lot of them can be weak. You want it set up autonomously. You need individuals on an ethics board like from university presidents and the like, not politicians. The politicians have no say. It's an apolitical office. although it's under the quote City of New Orleans umbrella, you want the budget separate, part of the city budget, but written in where it's by law. They get X amount percentage of the city budget, which is exactly how it went down. And the council can't mess with it. You never hear the New Orleans City Council or the mayor trying to mess with the Office of Inspector General in New Orleans because it doesn't happen. In Jefferson Parish, all the time. We don't want them having as much investigative skills. We want them, they can't talk to the media. All this control stuff because the Jefferson Parish politics are as bad as it gets. It's a joke in Jefferson Parish. I mean, that's what's so funny to me. Everybody laughs at New Orleans politics. I'm with you. It's dysfunctional in New Orleans. I'm not talking about broken, dysfunctional New Orleans. I don't know why we have to keep reverting back to that when I keep disclaiming before I even bash Jefferson politics, which deserve it, that New Orleans politics are corrupt, broken, a joke, hyper woke, pathetic. But Jefferson parishes are pretty much right there. It is a huge political machine. It is total nonsense going on in Jefferson Parish. Friends, family getting hooked up, political contributors getting hooked up. There's a huge political machine in Jefferson Parish. It is pathetic. It's a joke. It's much more of that than clean, efficient, transparent government and proofs in how they treat the Inspector General's office. They don't want that office looking at them and following them and showing them what to do. They don't want that. Anyway, Kim Chatelain's going to join us at 5:20. And I'm fired up about that. Oh, we're on air. I should have that light on. There it is. Kim Chatelain, Inspector General, Jefferson Parish. No, she does not want that Gretna brew pub, at least how it's set up right now, to go through. And the council is hell-bent on having that go through. So I think if you just follow the money, there's got to be major contributors to several Jefferson Parish council members that are influencing this decision. This isn't just let's put up a speed bump in the neighborhood where they have, the deaf child. It's not something obvious like that. This is a questionable thing. And Kim Chatelain says there's lots of questions. We'll find out what those are about at 5:20. No, I laugh at Jefferson Parish folks that laugh at New Orleans. It's like folks in Jefferson and St. Tammany or St. Bernard that laugh like, oh, New Orleans flooded the dysfunctional sewage and water board. I don't know about your parish, like Jefferson or St. Tammany, that's like 30, 40 years old as far as modern infrastructure and population center and all that. I mean, it was the woods and a forest 50, 60, 70 years ago. When I was a kid, and I'm young, you go to the North Shore, you're going to the country. Now it's Metro New Orleans. It's New Orleans North Shore. No, it's just New Orleanians that have moved there, same dysfunction. But I love when they laugh and point the finger at dysfunctional New Orleans, like, the sewage and water board, the city's flooding. And then they get a bunch of rain and it floods there. I don't get off on that. I don't want it to flood in St. Tammany, Jefferson, or St. Bernard. And I don't laugh at New Orleans and the sewage and water board when, it's an antiquated system. It's a city that's 300 years old. The rest of it's part of Metro New Orleans and much more modern and new. Of course, it's going to be better. The names are the only thing that are different. It's all Metro New Orleans, and Jefferson and St. Tammany are newer than New Orleans. That's it. I'm on everybody's side. I'm on Metro New Orleans' side. I'm on Louisiana's side. I don't point and laugh when one parish is having trouble or problems. I don't avoid New Orleans or stay out of New Orleans. The opposite. I embrace New Orleans. Lillette is not a sponsor. Last night I picked up their hanger steak, this sliced up hanger steak with this demi-glace and some French fries that are cooked in goose fat or something like that. Fantastic. Absolutely incredible. Lillette's on Magazine, right by Art and Eyes, where I get my glasses, where you should get your eyewear. Best eyewear boutique in the South. One of the best in America. No, I embrace New Orleans. Are you kidding me? If New Orleans disappeared, seriously, I'd be out of the metro. moving to St. Tammany or Metairie or Kenner or St. Bernard without a New Orleans. Those places are great because they're the suburbs and the exurbs of New Orleans. They're part of the metro area, the pearl of the oysters, New Orleans. So no, I don't run from New Orleans. I embrace it. No, I love the Office of Inspector General in New Orleans, how it's set up. And I love Ed Michel, this pit bull, this tenacious Inspector General who's apolitical, does audits, investigations, checks, does all kind of reports on all kind of New Orleans entities. And we know there's dysfunction in New Orleans. You want an aggressive pit bull attacking these audits, investigations, and reports. And when there's criminal activity, letting the law authorities know about it. No, Jefferson Parish's IG is very limited. If St. Tammany ever gets one, and it's long overdue, St. Tammany Parish residents, long overdue. Probably the most affluent parish in the state. Probably the most public money per capita per, person being spent on public projects. St. Tammany's Metro New Orleans. I mean, come on, the sheriff, the DA, lots of crazy criminal lunatic activity going on in St. Tammany, right? I love St. Tammany. Trey Yen, the Wong brothers, my friends. I love going over to Gallagher's 527. Are you kidding me? I love the North Shore. It's the exurbs of New Orleans. But it's New Orleanians over there. You got a lot of political problems. You need an IG. You need an Office of Inspector General. Councilman Freddie King joins us next. The French Quarter trash contract controversy continues. And it stinks. Yeah, that pun was intended.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us. Some New Orleans school zone signs were going off today. I don't know about you, but I was like, all right, it's July. I don't see anyone around these schools. Coupled with, I don't see a speed camera on a pole. I'm not doing 20 through here. But then I barrel up against the back of like a group of people doing 20. I don't know, just simple deductive reasoning. July, school doors are closed. You know, it's not morning or afternoon. It's like midday. I don't know. There's so many reasons to kind of, coupled with no traffic camera, so you can't get a ticket. I don't know. I'm barreling through that thing at regular street speed. But then again, that's me. And apparently the people in front of me weren't doing that. All right. Speaking of dysfunction in New Orleans, what's going on with the trash in the French Quarter? Because it's July. Just a few more weeks of IV waste. Will a judge come in and decide if IV waste will go through till December? Is Henry Consulting with Richards as the subcontractor taking over July 31st or August 1st? Will the French Quarter and this new district that the state set up in the last legislative session, will they come up with a trash contractor? Freddie King, New Orleans City Councilman, joins us. He represents the French Quarter. Freddie King, lots of questions. I don't know if you have answers or not. I hope you do. How are you, man?
I'm doing fine. Corey, how about yourself?
Doing well. Are those legitimate questions?
I didn't hear them all.
Gosh, I mean, it's a long list. It's will IV waste continue for just 2 more weeks? Will a judge rule that IV waste goes through till December? Will Henry Consulting take over July 31st or August 1st, depending on who you talk to about when that would start? Will the new district formed by the state come in the French Quarter and put it out for bid and get their own trash contractor? Will, this private lawsuit, the council lawsuit, will one of them intervene and cause something to happen? Lots of questions. I don't know if we have any answers.
Okay, so here's what we have. The mayor tried, the mayor said there's an emergency that happened. She gave an emergency declaration saying that by the fact that Sidney Torres, IV waste, is not going to continue picking up trash at the end of the month, we need to get Henry Consulting in right now. Get Henry Consulting in by the end of the month. And the council today, my lead, pretty much canceled that, vetoed, if you will, that emergency declaration by the mayor. So today's move was to first have IV stay until the end of the month. The question then comes in, once August gets here, who is going to do the sanitation providing for the French Quarter? Well, through Senator Jimmy Harris in the French Quarter Management District, there's new legislation from the state that allows FQMD to do their own sanitation, get their own sanitation provider. And they are independently outside the council with their own proposals and bids, that whole process. They're working on a way to get IV waste, or whoever they choose. I believe it's going to be IV waste. Whoever's selected to be their sanitation contract. That's something totally separate. That's with the French Quarter Management District. And there are different couple lawsuits that are going on right now. You have a group of businesses and residents who filed a lawsuit against the mayor and her team. You have Henry. They filed a lawsuit against the city. So there are different couple lawsuits all happening at one time, and how they play out, I really can't tell you because
Yeah.
that's up to the judge and the
Yep.
waters who are handling that. But to make a long story short, the mayor tried to stop IV Waste from picking up trash. We came in and said no, he's going to remain at least until the end of the month. And now we are trying to figure out, will FQMB be successful, which I believe they will be, in doing their own sanitation contract with IV Waste to carry us out through the end of the year.
And that would be the deal, Freddie, this French Quarter district, this newly formed district, they would just have IV Waste continue through December. And then what? They'd have another bid process for the future cleanup in the French Quarter?
So it's not new. The French Quarter Management District is a state entity. It's comprised of French Quarter residents and businesses, and they get state money. But it's not new.
Harris just gave them the authority to pick a trash hauler.
Right, he gave them right, and some funds, and they also get city funds. So it's a state. It's a bit of a local individuals, but it has some state components as well. They would like to just have the contract go through the year. Now, what happens after that is really anyone's guess. No one really knows because we're waiting for the courts to come in. By that time, we'll have a new mayor. So that's a lot of gray area and a lot of knowns as to what's going to happen at the end of the year / beginning of the year once the emergency contract expires with IV Waste.
It just seemed the simple thing and the fair thing. You know, I have nothing against Troy Henry. He won it, didn't have his you-know-what together with Richards. You guys had to act. IV Waste comes in. They're going to handle it through December. You let them handle it through December. And then in the next month or two, you guys throw out for January of 2026 and on. It could be IV Waste. It could be Henry. Could be, Serve Pro, River Parish Disposal, Richards, Metro, whatever. So that seems like the fair thing. And then the January 26 and on, Freddie, is at these enhanced cleaning levels that we're seeing from Sidney Torres and IV Waste in the quarter, right?
That is what residents are saying. If this is given to, if the judge decides that Henry Consulting gets the contract, will we then put in the contract that they have to step up and do the same providing that Sidney Torres did? Because right now the current contract only requires pressure washing 3 times a week. Well, IV Waste is doing it 7 times a week. If the original contract is awarded and the judge said is going to be awarded to Troy Henry, is he required to do the 7 days a week pressure washing?
Right.
Or he's just required to do what the contract says, the 3 times a week pressure washing. That's why you have some people who say this whole process needs to be scrapped and let's put it back out to bid and change the specs because we now see what is required to keep the French Quarter clean. You need to go above and beyond what this original contract requires. I tend to believe if we're going to award to someone different, they should be required to do what Sidney Torres and IV Waste is doing because we have a proven product. We know what works. If we're not going to award it to Henry Consulting, let's do a completely a new bid process, change the specs because that's only fair simply because we now know what it takes to be successful as it relates to the French Quarter.
I think I've talked to just about every council person. I don't know, outside Oliver Thomas, I don't know too many that say they have regular conversations with the mayor. I think I've asked you in the past, and you've said you've only spoken to her a handful of times since you've been a council person outside of some, public event where you really can't speak to her about specific things. Have you talked to her or at least her people, Freddie, about just the mentality? Like it's screwing over the citizens here. It's rewarding Troy Henry. And again, I don't have anything for or against Troy Henry, but it's awarding this guy or XYZ contractor and the citizens get screwed. He gets it for the next, 8 years. It's $73 million and doesn't have to do the enhanced cleaning. I don't get it. What's the incentive of the mayor doing this?
So that's a part of the problem. I think Corey, I'm human, and I try not to let my mind wander. But you can only do that for so long. You start to wander and speculate. But what is the reason behind ending this contract early? What's the reason for really pushing to get rid of Ivy Waste? And I try not to speculate and connect dots. But you sometimes, without getting straight up answers, you're left to do that on your own. And I can tell you, I've spoken to some members of the administration who do not agree with this step. They think it's going backwards, and I tend to agree. And not just me, not just members of the administration, but several. Well, you saw today it was 5-1 with one recused because Councilman Jeruso, I believe, is conflicted with his new position with the law firm. The majority of the council believes that Sidney Torres and Ivy Waste should remain the trash provider, the sanitation provider for the French Quarter. You had a member of the French Quarter community today say you rarely have the French Quarter residents and the business community agree 100% on something. This is something that they agree 100%. Keep Ivy Waste at least until the end of the year, and then we can go from there. But you have the mayor and I believe a small circle of her, a small circle of consultants.
Yep.
Saying this is the route to go, and this is the route they're going. And I don't know why, and I really don't want to assume why, because I can't assume anything that's going to lead to a positive conclusion.
Agreed. Freddie King's with us for about another minute or so. Freddie, what was the 5-1 vote on today at the council chamber specifically? What was the 5-1 vote on?
To terminate, I guess that's the right word, to terminate the mayor's emergency declaration to bring in Henry Consultants to do the trash pickup in the French Quarter.
And Joe Jeruso, because of his new gig with the law firm, abstained. Who voted against it?
Councilman Thomas.
Wow. Oliver Thomas voting against it. I think that just solidified the mayor's race for Helena Moreno. Freddie, any final thoughts until we visit again? Always love having you on the program.
Thanks for having me, Corey. I just passed that A-frame house. You know what I'm talking about.
I played English Turn last week out in your neighborhood, and I saw the A-frame house. Those people, they need to be cited. I'm almost tempted to throw some money towards the cleanup if they need help. Jeez.
Well, always a pleasure to be on, Corey. Thanks for having me.
You're the man, Freddie. Thank you very much. That's Councilman Freddie King. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
New Orleans talk giant Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
I'll have the entire city of New Orleans in the palm of my hand.
In Metro New Orleans on 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM. Also from Baton Rouge to Pensacola, Florida on 600 AM and 1560.
Just had Councilman Freddie King on the program. Earlier today, the council overrides Mayor Junket Cantrell's emergency declaration in the trash contract dispute. 5-1 vote. Joe Giarrusso is taking a new job at a law firm. There was some conflict of interest, so he recused himself. The person that voted against the resolution, Oliver Thomas, he just sealed his fate. Oliver Thomas, this vote today almost guarantees, and it was pretty much a guarantee already, that there's no way he will win the mayor's race. He is siding over and over again with Junket Cantrell. I just don't see how Oliver Thomas can overcome that connection, and why Oliver Thomas would make that connection. Absolutely insane. You know what Oliver Thomas needs? He needs some time at Stacked Coaching on River Road at Arnold, right past the River Shack, right past Oxnard. StackedCoaching.com. Bradley Schneller is the owner, operator, the head coach. He comes up with the routine, head trainer, all of it. He joins us on the program every Thursday a little after 4:35. What up, Bradley?
Corey just finished a workout, snorted some creatine after, ready to go.
Snorted some creatine. Wow. That's funny. I want to talk to you about creatine before we do that. You remember the Johnny Carson gimmick? You're just a child, but you remember Johnny Carson would answer the question before he'd give the answer before the question.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give the answer before the question.
I mean, actually not, because I didn't really watch Johnny Carson.
Well, I figured as much. It was kind of off the air and you were like 10.
I mean, when I was 10, I was watching David Letterman.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I'm going to give the answer to the question before I ask it, okay?
All right, let's hear it.
Because I've been doing this a long time, Corey, because I'm experienced and because I do the workouts myself. How did you know, like yesterday, to change like the last routine in a workout that was pretty brutal? Like I look back on and go, my God, if he wouldn't have changed the routine at the end, that really might have been debilitating for me. Yet Bradley knew to curb that back a little bit. So
yeah, this is just to give everybody a heads up. On Wednesdays at Stacked, we generally do an endurance workout. And we've been working on a lot of aerobic training, somewhere in let's say the upper level of zone 2 cardio. And that zone 2 cardio could be a topic for another day. But basically, zone 2 cardio is not super fast paced. It's more like a conversational pace. right, would be zone 2 cardio. And I had written a workout that was basically 4 sets, rounds, however you want to call it, of about 9 different movements involving some aerobic work where either on a rower or run, some box step ups, and then combined with some ab workouts as well, or ab movements. And I had actually recorded as a note, I've actually coached 6 a.m. And part of my job is to not only make sure that we are writing things to get the members benefits in terms of their performance, body composition, health, cardiovascular fitness, all those things, right? But also to make it fun, okay? And also to have people be able to come back every day. Well, after watching one of the morning classes, I kind of made the assessment that as the day went on, like this was a little boring and a little monotonous, too long on a rower. And so I made some changes where the beginning portion of the workout would be more aerobic, and the end portion of the workout, I would make it anaerobic. Now, the reason that it felt great to Corey is that instead of basically this much longer portion of the workout at the end, I cut all the reps basically in half and told everyone to sprint it. Now it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it's less work, but because it's less work, you're able to go much faster and quicker through the movements, which jacks your heart rate up and makes you feel like you want to vomit a little bit.
Well, that's pretty much what I was about to say. I kind of was on the board. If I would have done a little more, I would have one of two things: either passed out or thrown up.
Or third option, you would just slow down.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been the same
Yeah.
intensity level.
Yeah. I would have had to slow down. I would have had to slow down before that point, knowing I had another thing to do, or take a pretty big break,
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it is like messaging, communication to what is the purpose of this workout, what is the intention. And when you look at something, you need to know that, hey, I can go through this pretty quickly. Like when I'm setting up the workouts and I'm like, hey, everybody, this section's going to be 15 minutes. However long you do it, we're going to rest the remaining time of this section. It should take about this amount of time. For the first 2 sections, 10 to 12 minutes. The second section, I said, I'm going to give you 12 minutes, but you really should be able to do it in under 8. Well, if I tell you can do it under 8, you can do a lot of things if you're switching between movements in under 8 minutes and maintain that pace. And that's kind of what I wanted.
Bradley Schneller's with us from Stacked Coaching. Don't let our conversation or me talking about I almost threw up or I was getting nauseated discourage you. I'm telling you, every time I go into the place, almost every time I'm like, wow, am I ready for this? And then within a few minutes, I'm distracted, or Bradley says, having fun. I'm distracted by what's going on. And all of a sudden we're 45 minutes into the workout. It's just, so that anxiety, or am I going to be able to make it? Or, it kind of all goes away. You're with a group, everybody's on the same page. And
you should start calling me the fitness magician.
No, you are the fitness magician, because I am I'm the dead rabbit you pulled out of the hat and revived it.
I like it.
I'm telling you, Bradley, I am
Pillsbury Doughboy pulled them out, and now you're like a super fit middle-aged man.
No, and what's amazing is I keep going and I don't see myself stopping, which that's not my MO in life. Now, I'm not saying I'm a quitter. I'm just saying I'm not a member of any clubs or any groups. None. Zero. No country clubs, no Mardi Gras groups. I don't go with 10 dudes hunting for a week. I don't go fishing with 5 dudes for a week. I don't do any of that. I don't have any groups. I've got a lot of friends and family. I'm lucky, so I don't have any of these groups. This is the first group I've ever been involved with in my life.
Oh, I feel honored, Corey. Thank you.
No, I'm serious, man. I don't know if it's addicted or I've made it part of my lifestyle, or I don't know if I have yet because of my past. So I keep focused and grinding and fledgling. And I know my place in that gym,
Well, a lot of it is the people that you have around you, and I always tell people, like, it's like everything ever in life, right? Surround yourself with people that you want to be like.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yep.
There's a ton of quotes like you are the sum of the people you surround yourself with.
No, it's true.
If you surround yourself with a bunch of unfit people, you're going to be unfit.
Or negative.
You're not going to be healthy. Or negative, you're going to be negative.
Yep.
Poor people, you're going to be poor.
Yep.
And I don't mean that as disrespectful to anyone, but I promise you, if you surround yourself with a bunch of wealthy people all the time, it's going to raise your ability to generate income.
No, there's no doubt about it. I think that's obvious on every
Same
point
thing
you
with
made.
morals and non-morals. All those things go together. Look at what we're talking about today. How about that?
Yeah, you're right. All right, Bradley, you ready to jump into creatine?
Yeah, let's get after it.
What is it? You basically want to jump start with maybe 10 grams for a week or so, and then you want 5 grams of creatine a day. Is that right? And what are the benefits of creatine? And what about folks that say, oh man, I retain water, creatine bloats me. Give us the lowdown on creatine.
Yeah, so a couple of things. Back in the day, with some older creatine products, you would have to go through a loading phase, okay? And that's the initial grams at first and then switch to these grams and that type of stuff. Those brands also, and this is going to be a lot of stuff in one, Corey, those brands, the older versions of creatine or maybe fancier versions of creatine as well, that's what got associated with water retention and bloating. But the reality is most people in the fitness industry today use micronized creatine monohydrate, okay? Micronized creatine monohydrate, in my opinion, and many people's opinion of like my colleagues, okay, it is the number one supplement to take. It is the safest, most researched, most tested supplement with the most benefits, okay? Not only does it help with bone density, performance, muscle building, okay, the ability to retain muscle as you age, but it also boosts brain function. And there are studies now where you double, triple, quadruple dose, and it's helping people retain cognitive function in older ages of life. Where so much so they're starting to test it on early onset dementia patients.
Wow.
With this version of creatine, it's super cheap. Okay, now there are better brands than others. We use Thorne at the gym. It's the most widely tested supplement company. There's tons of doctors that use this company as well. But there's a lot of good companies on the market that sell micronized creatine monohydrate. It's not that expensive, and it's got a ton of benefits to it. Also, you do not have to do a loading phase with this. You can jump right in and start taking 5 grams per day. 5 grams per day is minimum. And I have actually even recommended creatine for as early as 13-year-olds.
Hey, Bradley, we got about 30, 40 seconds. What is creatine, real quick? And it's something that's naturally in our bodies. This is what you said. It's a supplement, right?
Yeah, it's a natural substance already in your body. But what we are doing with the supplement is enhancing it and giving you a little bit more. Okay, it helps you regenerate ATP, which is an energy source in your body as well. So you can keep lifting, keep going stronger, longer. And that's in addition to all the other things I just talked about in terms of muscle mass and brain function.
All right, I'm learning. So creatine's a supplement. Protein is a food, right?
I say protein's a food. I say whey protein's a food. They sell it at supplement stores, but to me, it's the purest form of protein. It's natural. It's naturally occurring.
Yeah.
It's a food, if you ask me.
Bradley, always a pleasure, brother. Thanks so much.
All right, buddy. See you later.
StackedCoaching.com is the website. Check it out. StackedCoaching.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Word is one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Yeah, you right. Don't you like anything like that's like brand new? And then we're not going to do this area right here. It's like, when was the door locked the day they put in the carpet? Wow, unbelievable! Wow. Hey, welcome back, Corey Johnson, with you on a Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Councilman Freddie King joined us earlier in the program. The council overrode the mayor's emergency trash contract. We don't know how long that's going to last. It keeps Ivy Waste in business in the French Quarter as far as cleaning up through the end of the month at least. It was a 5-1 vote. Oliver Thomas voted against it. I mean, Oliver Thomas is just like, I don't know who's advising Oliver Thomas. Seriously. Just basically you're siding with Mayor Cantrell, who has a terrible track record and an abysmal approval rating. You're like hooking your wagon with the loser. And it's kind of mind-blowing to me. You would have been better off abstaining, seriously. And that would have been legitimate. Hey, I work for Oliver Thomas at his radio station. He has the bid for the trash contract. We're even cousins, arguably. I'm going to recuse myself. That would have been legitimate. Joe Geruso joined a law firm that must have something to do with Ivy Waste or the French Quarter or trash or something. He recused himself. Not Oliver Thomas. And then he digs his own grave and votes against the resolution. 5-1. Siding with the mayor. Crazy. Crazy. You know, it's crazy. Dog fighting, cock fighting, still going on in Louisiana. Still going on in Louisiana. Just absolutely sinful. Now, you know what makes me really sad? 28 dogs that are trying to, that trust humans. And these humans put them in this life of dog fighting. So they just have a miserable life. And then because of that, years of that belligerent training, they need to be euthanized. 28 dogs euthanized after a dog fighting ring was uncovered. That's north of Baton Rouge, Metro Baton Rouge, not way out in the sticks, Zachary, just north of Baton Rouge, right up the I-110. You're not even halfway to St. Francisville, Metro Baton Rouge, right north of Baker. Jeff Dorson, Humane Society of Louisiana, joins us on the program. Jeff, always a pleasure, brother. Hey, you guys had nothing to do with this directly, but you're applauding the Zachary Police Department for proactively taking this on.
That's exactly right. So give a little feedback, unless you already did. They did a months-long investigation, narcotics, probably weapons, and all of a sudden they stumbled upon a dogfighting ring. So, yeah, good for them for looking for, more than what's obvious. I'm glad they took the dogs out of their misery. I didn't like the ending. Apparently the dogs did not survive, but they might have been too scarred up or unadoptable.
Yeah, just that so many, it would take, I would imagine, Jeff, you've done it. A dog that's been part of a dog fighting ring or organization for years. I'm assuming it takes months and months and months of fostering. And then you've got to get the right owner with the right temperament that can take on that dog.
I'm glad you understand, because the public immediately thinks, oh, no, why didn't they give them a chance? Well, it would take, as you just said, enormous resources that nobody has. We can't even adopt cute little puppies, and it would be far beyond shelters' capacity to try and redirect and retrain all these fighting dogs. They're not a good mix for most families, as you know.
Yep. No, and I know that breaks your heart because you're the opposite of euthanasia. I mean, it's got to kill you.
Yeah, but I'm grateful that the police really went at this hard and they didn't overlook it, and they did their job. So I'm really grateful to them. And St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office, we're in touch with them. They did a search warrant earlier today on information that we helped gather. That they're a great group of people that really care about animals in their community. So hats off to cops when they care. I really like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think police that get it understand that, man, if these humans are going to treat animals like this, they're going to treat humans like this.
Exactly right. So they better pay attention, because it's going to be the same people coming back again. If they're mistreating their dog or cat, chances are they're going to do the same to a elderly, a child, a neighbor. Yep, same kind of people.
Hey, Jeff, I guess what? It's on Durbany Street on the West Bank. The Humane Society of Louisiana's headquarters, right off the West Bank Expressway. I think that's in between like Huey Long and Lafayette, if I'm not mistaken. Hook a right, few blocks down on the left. You guys take litter donations, dog food donations, cat food donations, kibble, can, and dog houses, cat houses, little containers to carry them, the little cargo containers to carry animals, anything and everything that has to do with cats and dogs, kittens and puppies primarily, but all animals, horses, anything, right?
All true. In fact, we're gearing up for a citywide pet food drive. We're getting way too many calls. People are still getting tight with their budgets because of inflation and what have you.
Yep.
So the first Saturday in August, we want people to really come out and donate a little bit so we can distribute to those in need. Next time we talk, I'll give you more information.
Perfect. Jeff, always a pleasure. Hey, if folks go to the Facebook site, go to Facebook, Humane Society of Louisiana. They've always got photos. They're always updating them. They got a little write-up underneath, few sentences, a paragraph explaining what's going on. I promise you, you'll find out, you'll learn a lot more about what they're all about. And if you go to that Facebook page, you'll end up donating. And the way you donate, humanela.org. That's the website, humanela.org. Where's the West Bank location again, Jeff?
618 Derby, big white building. We need better signage, but you'll find us.
Yep.
We're there a lot. And yes, we'll take any and all donations. Thanks for everything you stand for and talk about, Corey.
My pleasure, Jeff. You're the man. You do the hard work. I got an easy gig getting you on and hyping what you do every day, man. Thank you.
We're grateful.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm grateful.
Hi, Corey.
That's Jeff Dorson. No, very grateful for this guy. Known him for decades. He's just big heart, cares about animals. Period. End of story. HumaneLA.org. Donate. Your money will go to help save animals. Simple as that. Like Blue Boy. What, buddy? You love Jeff Dorson. You love the Humane Society of Louisiana because over the last 35 plus years, they've saved thousands and thousands of your buddies. You're right, Blue Boy. What else? The 5 o'clock power hours next. Kim Chatelain's going to join us. Inspector General Jefferson Parish. And Joe Responti, New Orleans lawyer.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseBars.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Do I used to watch more? Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way on a Thursday afternoon. We got a lot to discuss. Got a good 5 o'clock power hour. You Jefferson Parish folks, even though this is New Orleans, Jefferson Parish part of New Orleans, the key suburb of the Crescent City. Kim Chatelain is the Inspector General for Jefferson Parish. She has urged the council and the president abandon this Gretna brew pub idea, but they're going full steam ahead. And it seems obvious that there's some political shenanigans going on because of this relentless go, go, go mentality. And that's coming from a guy who says time kills deals. That when someone's proposing something, you make it happen. But this is the parish maybe having too much responsibility on their hands if this business fails. Like if I'm the business owner, I'd love the parish to build me a custom building on parish land. And the lease is in my advantage. And if I go bankrupt or I walk from the project, the parish is on the line, not me. And that's kind of how I see it right now. But Kim Chatelain will give her view. She's urging the council to back down. I don't get what the rush is, except I do get what the rush is. Jefferson Parish is ridiculously politically corrupt. And Jefferson Parish folks are in denial about it. Worse than that, they look at broken, dysfunctional New Orleans, which is clearly politically corrupt. Obviously, like the state of Louisiana. And it's always a comparison to New Orleans, which is a bad barometer. New Orleans is the inner city, Jefferson Parish folks. You guys are the suburbs. It's supposed to be different. So comparing it like apples to apples is insane. It's not even apples to oranges. I mean, at the best stretch, it's that. It's almost apples to anvils. It's a 300-year-old inner city and a 80-year-old suburb of that inner city. So it's kind of funny that Jefferson Parish folks like, oh, we've got just so much better politics than New Orleans. You have marginally better politics than New Orleans, but it's like when I compare the Republican and Democrats. Like the Democrats are like a 4 and 13 ball club, and the Republicans are like 5 or 6 wins and nowhere near 500, nowhere near the playoffs. Just a few more wins than the Democrats. It's not like a winning team. Jefferson Parish politics, same deal. New Orleans is 4 and 13. You guys are 6 and 11, and you feel better about that? Nowhere near 500, nowhere near the playoffs. I mean, the political machine in Jefferson Parish is entrenched. It's deep. I mean, Cynthia Lee Shang, Harry Lee's daughter, is the friggin' president. I mean, it's laughable. And Newell Norman is the main political broker in that parish still to this day. He was the campaign manager for Lee Shang, main advisor. Joe Lapinto's his boy. That's the sheriff of Jefferson. Now, one thing I'll tell you about Lapinto, he's not like Harry Lee or Newell Norman. And I'm not knocking Newell. I like Newell as a person. But Newell is a political power player, without a doubt. Joe isn't. Joe's just a sheriff. Doesn't like the political part. Doesn't like raising money. Doesn't like going in front of a bunch of people and having to BS them to get a check. Newell didn't mind doing that. He's a politician. Harry Lee loved doing it. He's a politician. Edwin Edwards guy. Loved Edwin Edwards. So no, Jefferson Parish is ridiculously politically corrupt and dysfunctional and broken politically, without a doubt. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, I often say this about Harry Lee. It's laughable. It's laughable. Every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade, Harry Lee was in power. Crime only went up in Jefferson Parish. Crime only went up. And I love talking to like a North Shore resident. Love that Harry Lee. Loved Harry Lee. I grew up in Jefferson. I grew up in New Orleans, so we moved to Jefferson. I love Jefferson. I love Harry Lee. Great sheriff. Why do you live in Covington? Oh, man, the crime in Jefferson. I had to get out of there. Wow. And you love Harry Lee. I'm like, I'm lost on that logic. Love Harry Lee, but you left Jefferson because the crime got out of hand. No, it's a ridiculously wicked, politically connected, a bunch of shenanigans, who you know, New Orleans politics, living strong in Jefferson Parish, and don't be in denial and kid yourself that it's any different. It may not be as extreme. It may not be the sheer numbers of corruption, all that, but it is very corrupt. It's a big political wasteland out there. And the council is hell-bent on getting this Gretna Brew Pub built. Kim Chatelain, IG Jefferson Parish, will join us next. I think Kim does a pretty good job, but she's like, tied. She's one arm behind her back. That IG's office in Jefferson Parish, controlled by the council. We're going to limit how much you can investigate. We're going to limit on you talking to the media. All kind of nonsense. All kind of craziness. You ever hear anybody with the New Orleans Council or the mayor messing with Ed Michel in the Office of Inspector General? Never, because there's nothing they can do. The budget for that office is written into the charter. You'd have to have literally the council vote to control that budget or lower it, and then that would have to go to a vote of the citizens of New Orleans. It's never going to happen. That was the great way Bob Sarasoli, the original New Orleans IG from the Big Dig in Boston, this northerner, this Boston guy came down here, saw the political nonsense, stayed clear away from it, and set up the office right. And Jefferson Parish's office is not set up right. The parish can change the budget, all kind of stuff. They control it. It limits it. No, if Jefferson Parish citizens care, they'd be like, we need somebody on the council to copy, believe it or not, the New Orleans Office of Inspector General, how it's set up, the autonomy, how it's funded, and have a vote for the parish citizens to vote on that, to get the council and the parish president away from that office. Because right now there's way too much influence hindering its capability of doing what it's supposed to do, investigate, audit, and report on those very council people and other Jefferson Parish entities. No, the inmates run the asylum in Jefferson Parish, and they do not want to be scrutinized. It's as simple as that. It's not very deep or tough to figure that one out. Kim Chatelain, IG Jefferson Parish, joins us soon in less than 5 minutes. Boy, some school zones, public school, private school, school zones lights. I was on Jefferson Avenue in Uptown, so I guess I passed that Ben Franklin Elementary, across the street from Sean Payton's old house. Jefferson near, the P streets, Britannia, Perrier, Pitt. And then I crossed St. Charles Avenue, and by Newman, a private school, the lights were blinking. Unlike the drivers in front of me, I did some quick deductive reasoning. Wow, it's 1 p.m. 2, it's July. 3, there's no one around the schools. All the doors are shut. There's not a person, car, student, teacher, no one around. 3, there are no traffic cameras. I'm going to accelerate to normal speed on the street. I think Jefferson Avenue is at least a 25. if not a 30. I mean, uptown streets like that just go through the middle of uptown, cars parked on each side, those are 25. So I'm assuming Jefferson with a median is a 30. Maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, is a cop going to pull you over for doing 30 on Jefferson Avenue? But people are doing like 17 because the school zone lights lit up in July at 1 p.m. And there are no traffic cameras.
I heard you still get the ticket. You just have to go fight it.
What are you talking? How do I get a ticket?
Like if it's one of those when it's already set up like that, if they even think it's any type of camera set up.
But there isn't a camera there. That's my point.
Okay.
No, that's why I was like, hit the accelerator, people. There's no school in session. The light's blinking, sure. But it's 1 p.m. It's July, and there's coupled with I don't see any cameras. Let's go. But, people are all paranoid and scared.
Well, no cop and no camera.
No, if there was a cop there, I would have gone 30 through there. Seriously. If there was a cop on the side of the road, I would have gone right by that cop at 30. And if you had pulled me over and said, you didn't see the blinking school zone light, I'd say, yeah, it's July. It's 1 p.m. Am I missing something, officer?
You would hope he would.
Oh, he writes me a ticket. I guess I'd have to go to court and deal with it or something. But I think that would not happen at all. I don't think the cop would pull me over. Wouldn't be worrying about that in July at 1 p.m. Just some malfunction.
Summer schools doesn't count, right?
I don't think that ever summer school counts. No.
Just curious.
No, plus there's a new law. Hour before the first bell of each individual school, the school zone blinking lights need to be synchronized with that school. So that school opens the first bell's at 8 a.m. They could only have the blinking light going from 7 to 8, an hour before the first bell. 8:01, that light has to stop. School started. And they only can have it an hour after the final bell rings. That final bell rings at 2:30. At 2:30, the blinking light can go on until 3:30 only. That's the way it should be. Right now, there's this 2-hour window before, 2-hour window in the afternoon. It's ridiculous.
The city just doesn't do anything about it.
No, the city doesn't care. But it's state law, especially if you have a traffic camera in that school zone, you can't give tickets, but within an hour before the first bell and an hour after. Otherwise, they're not.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-JC.com, your cool spots.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City. You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Women are often throwing clothing items at me, saying you're the possessor of the cool factor. I have to fight off the ladies.
90 minutes of fun every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
I'm still convinced that was AI created, Miss Peaches, and I'm not kidding you. I would never say cool factor. Someone took cool and factor and glued them together. I just wouldn't say the cool factor. I've never said that. I don't know where that came from. It's insane. I remember I dated this girl when I lived downtown, and she claimed I said I lived in the French Quarter. And I lived on Rampart in the CBD. I never would have said French Quarter, but somehow she always would throw that at me like that's how I was trying to lure her in, that, hey, I live in the French Quarter. It's like, never would have said that. So cool factor, I swear, I think that's AI created. That old AI. Hey, South Shore folks, what are you waiting for? It's Thursday night. It's 5:20. You're going to go somewhere tonight for dinner. You're going to go somewhere nice for dinner, maybe. And you're thinking, where am I going to go? I got the place for you. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Now, before you just scratch it off the list, I'm not going to Mandeville. It's 25 minutes from Lakeside Mall. It's less than 30 minutes from exiting off I-10 at Causeway. You exited I-10 and Causeway in Metairie. In about 28 minutes, you're pulling up in front of Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. There's no driving on the North Shore. Immediately across the Causeway, across Causeway from Trey Yen, behind the Shell station by Aquista Pace Grocery. Gallagher's 527. They're open till 9:30 tonight. They'll be open till 10 tomorrow night and Saturday night. Lunch Tuesday through Friday. It simply doesn't get any better than this. If you love New Orleans food, like gumbo, turtle soup, stuffed mirliton, sweet potato casserole, pompano, redfish, tuna, speckled trout, pecan-crusted local catfish, bacon wrap shrimp, bacon wrap oysters. Now, Gallagher's 527 is special. I wouldn't be telling you to take the trip across the lake if it wasn't worth it. Tonight for dinner, Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. You'll thank me. It's that good. I love it. I mean, I live on the South Shore, and I traverse the lake to go to Trey Yen and Gallagher's 527 all the time. Inspector General Jefferson Parish, Kim Chatelain, joins us on the program again. Kim, how are you?
I am fine, Corey. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for joining us again.
My pleasure, always.
Hey, you are urging the city council, the Jefferson Parish Council, the president, any power players that have anything to do with this, do not go forward with this Gretna Brew Pub project at this point. Slow down the roll at the very least. Is that your take, and why?
Well, you will remember we issued that public letter in September of 2024 raising concerns. And then after those concerns were raised, the first part of this project that we decided to do a deeper dive on was the actual lease transaction between Jefferson Facilities, Inc. and the Port Orleans entities to sort of like break it down. You know, what is our exposure? How much money we're going to spend? Where's the money coming back? And so that is what we released. And what was unique about the contract as it was is it had this provision that said actual construction by October 2025. And we were not going to make that deadline. So that sort of gave the parish an opportunity and an out to sort of rethink this. And that was the information we brought forth to the parish. Unfortunately, they did not want to consider that information, and they went ahead and locked us in to a new lease.
Now, you said what? JFI, Jefferson Facilities, Inc., JRI, Jefferson Redevelopment, Inc., failed to get a fair, transparent criteria for leasing, management, and occupancy. What does all that mean exactly? What did they not do?
Well, you know, we have been hearing that this is an economic development corporation. They don't have to bid. They don't have to do that. It's all about government acting like business. But even though you don't have to bid things out in terms of an economic development corporation, there is this concept in the law, which makes complete sense because all this is about public property and public money. And this concept in the law is, I don't care if you bid it out or you don't bid it out, you have got to set up fair and reasonable criteria to make sure that the public is getting an adequate return. So that criteria can be rent, highest rate of return, marketability, financial stability, all these things. Like if it was your money or my money, this is what we would want to see before we spent it. And JFI did not establish any criteria. And what we found in the lease transaction is that Port Orleans was in conversations with the parish, with JFI, even directing design of the building with the architect for a whole year before anything was ever like advertised. And then when it was advertised, Port Orleans was the only one to respond. Of course, they selected Port Orleans. Well, it was all like the advertisement was just tailored to Port Orleans. And then Port Orleans just took the architectural designs, attached it to the proposal, and like turned it in. So
when you bring that point up to the council, what do they say about that? Or if you bring that up to,
I mean, I for whatever reason, they just don't seem to be moved by it. And I'm, you know, I'm not going to guess why they're not moved by it.
So essentially, the parish is custom building a building with public funds for Port Orleans Brewery, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what is happening.
And according to the lease, if the business fails, Port Orleans Brewing can just go bankrupt and walk, and the parish is on the hook for this custom-made building for like a brew pub, right?
That's exactly it. That's yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, Corey. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're spending public funds to build a custom brewery and restaurant for a commercial enterprise.
Well, I'll take it a step further. You're the IG in Jefferson Parish. You're doing this investigation report on this. Is there any overt, obvious reasons why the parish is hell-bent on doing this? Is Port Orleans some major contributor to Jefferson Parish politics? Why this special treatment for these guys? Is there any connection that you see so far?
There is none. And I think that's kind of like almost as important as anything else. None that is discernible or detectable. But I mean, I say that to be fair and to be honest and to be transparent. There is nothing discernibly nefarious about this other than the obvious, which is that public funds are going to construct a private enterprise. And that is maybe the most curious thing about all of it.
What's the next step? Just continuing to do what you do and hope there's enough public outrage where the council reacts?
Well, we really embarked upon this with that public letter as an opportunity to prevent. And we raised valid concerns. The concerns were dismissed. And the next thing that happened was we locked ourselves. Jefferson Facilities, Inc. locked itself into a construction contract. And so that sort of closed doors on an opportunity to reconsider. We nonetheless went forward and we did this next installment, which is a look at the lease transaction. And before that could be considered, the parish council basically closed the door on the opportunity to correct course with that one. I don't know that I'll have another installment on this project. I might have another installment on this project. I think that the value of the work that we've done is more to alert the public that there is substantial revenue that can be spent in a discretionary manner. And it is being spent in a discretionary matter. And maybe as citizens, we need to think about how that money is being spent and how our interest in having that money well spent needs to be looked at. And so, like, we've laid out all these problems, and then it's going to be like, okay, well, maybe let's wait and see and start calculating the harm, which isn't going to happen for some time.
Kim, any final thoughts on this topic?
Any final thoughts on this topic? I wish that the government would take a more serious, discerning look at the reports that we are issuing. We are fighting mightily to deliver information into the hands of decision makers so that they can make better decisions about our public funds.
Hey, Kim, let me ask you something. How long until your contract as IG is up? How many more years do you have under your contract?
I am in number 4 of my 4-year term. So my term as Inspector General will end in March of 2026.
Are you seeking to continue in the role?
I very much hope to serve the citizens for a second term as the Inspector General. So we'll see what happens with that process.
I guess I would say wait till you get in on the second term, and then a week in say, we need to get a council person behind you that you copy the Orleans Parish Office of Inspector General as far as autonomy, funding sources, all of that, and let the parish residents vote if they want that or not. And if they voted yes, it would keep the council and the president out of your business, and it wouldn't be such a challenge like for you, because Ed Michelle puts out a report and they're embraced. These people have no choice, in Jefferson Parish. I just don't see you having the full autonomy that office deserves.
Well, we certainly do wish that we were more loved in Jefferson Parish, but we're proud of the work that we do.
Yep. No, it should be embraced. Kim Chatelain, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That's Kim Chatelain, Inspector General, Jefferson Parish. That office should be embraced.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
South Shore residents that love good food are making the short trip across the lake to Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. North Shore folks have known about Gallagher's 527 for years. Now the South Shore has discovered this hidden gem. One of the metro area's best restaurants is less than 30 minutes away. Take the quick trip across the lake and experience Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. As good as it gets.
Corey's Talk Radio program is also simulcast on television. Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. Also on Spectrum Channel 333 in Slidell, Covington, Mandeville, Hammond, Homa, and more.
Yep, more like Thibodaux, Opelousas, all over. Yeah, we're on radio, we're on television, we're on YouTube. You can catch this guy on Fox 8 every Tuesday morning. And we get him on the program about once a month because he's New Orleans attorney. He's experienced, yet he can kind of throw it out there in layman's terms where we can understand it. And he knows what he's talking about. That's why he's on Fox 8 every Tuesday. Joe Responti joins us again on the program. What you say, Joe?
Hey, Corey, how are you?
Doing well, man. SOS, same old stuff.
Yes, sir.
Now, if it was a podcast, I could use the other S word.
That's right.
We could drink whiskey and get drunk. And by the end of the podcast, you're going to, hey, Joe, yeah. And that would be fine.
Let's do one, Corey. Me and you, baby. Let's do it.
And just get hammered and curse.
There you go.
Oh, wow. How you been doing, man?
Oh, been good. I just my phone's getting lit up about an hour ago. Here's a piece of news that you're breaking here. About an hour ago, email was sent, I'm assuming, that everybody on the federal indigent panel, which I've been on for 30-something years, we're the people that get appointed to represent the indigent people who are charged federally. Well, they just sent out a thing that said, we're out of money. The money for everybody, I guess, across the United States has been depleted. I've never, that's never happened before, ever. So I don't know what it's about. I don't know. They're making all these immigration cases and they're appointing people and they burned out the money, but it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I guess you'd call it one of the unintended consequences of some of the policies.
Well, so basically the feds are saying, hey, Eastern District of Louisiana, corruption in Southeast Louisiana with politics. You're kind of spayed or neutered right now. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they kind of said just keep working for free, I guess. They're intending all these people. Listen, I've been blessed. I'm not, counting on, but there's a lot of people who are on the panel that do count on this money, and they're just not getting paid. And I don't know how long that's going to be able to just go indefinitely, where people can still show up and represent these people, and they're not going to get paid. But it'll be interesting to see. I think as you all say in the media business, it's a story with legs.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt. Joe Responti's with us, New Orleans attorney. Hey, Joe, we'll talk about this in a second. I think Oliver Thomas, I don't think he was going to win to begin with as mayor. I think today he just put maybe one of the final nails in his coffin that guarantees he will not be elected mayor. But first things first, a 5-1 vote, the city council overrides Mayor Cantrell's emergency declaration in the trash contract dispute. So fill us in on this, because I was under the impression that come either July 31st or August 1st, IV Waste will cease operations in the French Quarter. Henry Consulting via the subcontractor Richards will take over. But I guess it wasn't officially signed, and the mayor went ahead and signed it, and now the council has overridden that. I fill us in on what went down.
I think what she did, she's not, for her to be able to sign any, I don't know what any amount of, any contract over X amount of money, whatever it is, I don't know what that number is, 5,000, 10,000.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 grand.
Yeah, it has to be an emergency. So she declared unilaterally declared an emergency, which of her own making.
Gotcha.
And signed this contract with these guys, and the council has the right to override her, and they did. So that I would think that contract is now null and void, and they've got to come up with a new. I'm gonna guess they're gonna go back to IV Waste. I don't know that, but they've got to have somebody who's going to pick up trash. I think it's the Quarter, the CBD, and Warehouse District. But this contract may not have applied to CBD and Warehouse District. But anyway, it's a big cluster. And as we were hoping, we've gotten to the point now where we're just hoping for the mayor to be inert. Okay, but she's decided she's going to go out in a blaze of glory and just be the most obstreperous person in the history of the city of New Orleans.
Yep.
I mean, don't forget, a couple of days ago, they were, how long ago, they had to override her with the Wisner $20 million money that was going to go to Charity Hospital that everybody agreed to. And I think she had even agreed to at one point. But then she stomped her little feet and said no, and they had to override her again. So that's what it's looking like it's going to be for the next, 5 or 6 months here, I guess.
Yeah, I can't figure out what's going to happen in, like 2.5 weeks from now, roughly. That's what I don't get. Like, there's a private lawsuit with a resident and a business owner in the Quarter. There's the council's lawsuit. There's a judge ruling that we're waiting on. There's, the council overriding the mayor. I mean, I'm wondering who's going to be picking up trash in, August.
It's a dysfunctional jurisdiction.
Gosh, it really is.
I mean, we all know, the fish, she stinks from the head, but that's where we are.
And then Harris, the local senator from New Orleans, he gets legislation passed where the French Quarter District can pick their own trash hauler. Throw that in there too. They might pick IV Waste to continue through December. So does Henry come in August, or does that French Quarter District by state law overrule the mayor and, IV Waste getting terminated before December and Henry Consulting coming in August?
Corey, you called me half an hour ago to do this, and I was happy to do it, but those kind of questions are probably a little above my pay grade, and I don't know the answer to that, but it's not the hardest thing in the world to get accomplished, but it is when you have someone who is intentionally being, as she is being difficult and just saying, whatever, black is white, red is blue, we're not going to do it, and neither are you.
Yeah,
I just made
exactly.
that up.
That's pretty damn good. You should have been a rapper. Joe Responti's with us, New Orleans attorney. Joe, what really sucks is the citizens are the big losers.
Of course.
Henry Consulting would get a 8 year, $73 million deal. Whoever the hauler is come January of 2026, it should be at the enhanced cleaning levels we're seeing in the quarter, right?
Well, you'd hope so. You'd hope so. I think the plan has got to be, it looks like, and I mean, this is from, somebody in the right field bleachers, that there are enough votes on the council to just override her on the way out. And they're just going to have to do it by, council fiat or whatever you want to call it, to try and get to the finish line until somebody else who's a little less ornery takes the job, whenever that's going to be in January. But it's a shame. And I mean, we saw, I'm on the host committee with the Super Bowl, and thank God that went really without a hitch. I mean, there's some things going on in the background, which I won't get into, but we can do so many good things in this city if we put our minds to it. But boy, we can sure mess it up.
Oh, no.
Put our minds to it.
Yeah. Or not put our minds to it. Yeah. We like messing up's easy. Losing's easy. Winning's hard. You have to put an effort to win. Hey, Joe, can I shift gears on you real quick?
Sure.
I don't know if it was you or Raphael Goyeneche or both of you, but one of you, if not both of you, told me you've never seen people get indicted and politician number one or politician A is mentioned in numerous indictments of individuals, and that politician not being indicted as well.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And it could have been me, but it's probably both of us. You're talking about the mayor and those two indictments of Vappy, and then that the gentleman, the contractor, his name is
Randy Farrell.
There you go.
And then the art guy, Zeithow or whatever
Well, Fuad.
Yeah.
He's a piece of work. Anyway,
oh boy.
Here's the deal: when you put that kind of language, you don't need to put that kind of language in a indictment. So they call it a talking indictment, and you put it in for a reason, to send a message, shoot across the bow that, hey, Madam Mayor, we got you. We're looking at you. And but then nothing happened. Once again, I don't know why. It's almost to the point now where an indictment of her is moot, because she has no shame. She's not going to step down.
Nope.
And no, if she was indicted tomorrow, there would be no trial by the time she's out of the office. So as far as us as citizens, which is the hope that she would go away, that ain't happening. So I don't know what that's about. And I don't know what was the impediment for them doing it, because it sure looked like they were doing it. I mean, I've had some, the people are not going to tell me things, but I just kind of got a sense that somebody somewhere said, hold off. And that's what happened. But I don't know. I was wondering, I was as much as anybody saying, yeah, it sure looks like she's getting indicted.
Oh, come on. That was the most obvious thing. She hired a powerful attorney. The feds admitted she was being investigated. She admitted she was being investigated. But also a wise man who I get on the program who made that other comment also said the feds move at their own speed.
Well, and that was me, and the guy who's in charge of this investigation. I've had many cases with him, and he is the guy who, as I referred him to, yeah, he's like the tide. He's coming in slowly but surely, and he's going to overwhelm you at some point. But it didn't happen, and I've seen him since then, and I'm not going to read anything into it, but I can just tell you, my gut tells me, something's up, something happened. And what was going to happen is not going to happen anymore. So,
yikes.
Who knows?
Yep.
Maybe we'll find out one day.
Boy, I'd like you to be wrong, and I'm kind of agreeing with you. I hope I'm wrong. Always a pleasure, Joe.
All right, man. We got to go head out. Take my sister-in-law out to to dinner for her birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Joe. Thanks again. That's Joe Responti.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Word is, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans isn't even in New Orleans. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Cross the lake and taste what you're missing. Tuesday through Saturday. Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now? Katie's in Mid-City, as New Orleans as it gets. And you know Scott Craig. He'll probably join us on the program tomorrow for a few minutes. Always bringing in that local fresh seafood to Katie's. And I love it when he's like, I got 15 pompano fillets. I got a dozen speckled trout. I got 13 soft shell crabs. When they're gone, they're gone. Seafood goodies and so much more. A Mid-City mainstay, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? What you waiting for? Dinner tonight at Katie's in Mid-City. Yummy. I don't know about you, but I think Oliver Thomas just, I don't want to say put the nail in the coffin. I mean, Oliver Thomas is a huge underdog to be mayor. It's not even close. A lot of you who think, boy, Helena Moreno, Oliver Thomas, this is a close race. It's not. It's not even close. Every poll that's been conducted with a margin of error, 3, 4, 5%, Helena Moreno is doubling up on Oliver Thomas. Like he's getting 20, 22%. Helena Moreno is getting 45, 50%. It's not even close. Helena Moreno is the prohibitive favorite. And Oliver Thomas did himself no favors. I'm going to get him on the program next week. A 5-1 vote. The council overrides the mayor's executive decision to have Ivy Waste terminated at the end of the month and Henry Consulting coming in to pick up trash. Now, nothing's finalized yet because this battle still goes on, but if the council wouldn't have done anything, it would have been a done deal. Now it's back in limbo again because the council, by a 5-1 vote, overrode that decision. The one abstaining vote was Joe Giarrusso. He's already said he's not running for re-election. He's taken a job at a law firm, and there must be some conflict of interest. He recused himself. That law firm does work with Sidney Torres and Ivy Waste or with Troy Henry and Richards or something where he felt he had to recuse himself. Oliver Thomas would have been better off recusing himself because what this message, this 5-1 vote sends, the micro story is, Troy Henry, that's his friend, maybe even his cousin. He wants him to get the trash contract. The macro story that most citizens are going to see, Oliver Thomas sided with the mayor. Oliver Thomas sided with Mayor Junket Cantrell, who has an abysmal approval rating, hooking his wagon to the loser. That's what the general public's going to see. So I don't know. I shouldn't say I don't know what Oliver Thomas was thinking. He's looking out for Troy Henry. But indirectly, directly, whatever, it connects him with LaToya Cantrell. That's the bigger picture that the voting public's going to see. Now, I don't want to say nail in the coffin. I think the nail's already in the coffin. He's the prohibitive underdog. Helena Moreno is the prohibitive favorite. Something dramatic would have to happen in the next 90 days or so for Helena Moreno either to win outright in the primary or at the very worst be in a runoff. I think it's a 50-50 she wins in the primary, gets north of 50% of the vote. But Oliver Thomas today voting with the mayor essentially and against the council members, no, he would have been better to recuse himself. And he had a legitimate reason. Hey, I work at a radio station that Troy Henry owns. I might be cousins with Troy Henry. Verify that or not. I have to recuse myself from this vote. That would have been better. Then it would have been 5-0. And it would have passed anyway. No, unbelievable. Oliver Thomas voting against it. Now I'm going to have him on the program and get his logic and thinking on that, because that is just political suicide. That's what that is. That's siding with the mayor. And the people just aren't going to go for that. Anyway, I could not believe that. I was shocked, to be honest with you. Shocked. I figured at least a recusal. The city council overrides the mayor's emergency declaration in the trash contract dispute 5-1. Oliver Thomas, the only holdout. Ivy Waste contract ends July 31st. A new state law lets the French Quarter Management District pick its own emergency trash contractor. So this thing could go in so many different directions. It's mind-blowing. The sad part is Ivy Waste should finish till December. And then in a few weeks, a month or two, August, September, January of 2026 and on, the French Quarter CBD Warehouse District trash contract goes out for bid. And at the enhanced level, we're seeing the French Quarter cleaned right now. Like the mayor is going to award Troy Henry at a lower level of clean than what we're getting right now. Put what Torres is doing into the contract. So the citizens lose on this. The French Quarter residents, businesses, tourists lose. And the mayor and Troy Henry and I guess Oliver Thomas win. I don't know. But Oliver Thomas continuously hooking his wagon to LaToya Cantrell is political suicide. And he's already a prohibitive underdog. Anyone who is delusional enough to think this is like a tight race don't understand simple facts. New Orleans isn't 70% black like it was 20 years ago. It's less than 60% black. It's like 58%. And New Orleans isn't 30% white like it was 20 years ago. It's about 33, 34% white. So the white population in Orleans Parish has increased a little bit, at least percentage-wise. The black population has decreased tremendously, like 10, 12, maybe 15% in the last 20 years. The Latino population increasing, Asian population increasing, like measurable percentages. With all of that said, coupled with white folks in Orleans Parish vote a little bit more than black folks do, it evens it out like 50-50 black and white. Very few white people are voting for Oliver Thomas. And the number one voting demographic of anyone in New Orleans, black females. Many black females by default are going to vote for Helena Moreno because she's female and she's not white, she's Latina. Some are going to vote for Oliver Thomas by default, but some, the number one voting bloc, the folks that get people elected in New Orleans, it's not you, blue boy, it's black females. Helena Moreno is going to garner a large percentage of black female votes. I mean, do the math. There's a reason Helena Moreno is doubling up on Oliver Thomas on the numbers. And Oliver Thomas today hooks his wagon to Junket Cantrell. Major mistake. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Straight up 4 o'clock Fantasy Friday. Be here.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.